have a good connection. All right, perfect. Fantastic, thanks. And how about yourself?
Doing all right. Had a long day, but
Hmm.
long day means fully booked, and that is never a bad thing, I would
It's
say.
never a bad thing at all, of course. Yeah, I also work. I work long hours, and I'm actually not even done for the day. So I have another class at 10 p.m.
Wow. Okay. That is.
Yeah.
I've been up since 8,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm quite happy to call it a day now. I'm not going to
Nice.
lie to you. um,
Yeah, I'm somewhat of a
so
workaholic. I've been up since 6.
wow.
Well,
Okay. Well, that is
5:45. My first
impressive. I
class
will
was
give
at
you.
6. Yeah. Um,
So I assume you teach Chinese students as well.
yes,
If you
I teach Chinese, Japanese, Russian, sometimes Turkey, South America, but less often because South American people are generally not that well off in order to afford online lessons, at least one-on-one
oh
online
yeah, of
lessons.
course.
They're expensive. Um, okay, so yes, of course, I teach Chinese students. So I do have a slight advantage over a lot of South Africans, which is having a British passport. So I'm very lucky in this case. But I did start my career before I had that. So a lot of the jobs that
I
I
ended up
have
with
currently,
I ended up with a German passport, which gave me an exact opposite, which
effect.
is a disadvantage.
Yes, yes,
So, so
because that's
I'd
definitely not
rather
seen as a
I'd rather
native.
pull out my South African passport before I pull out
Nice.
but the
Yeah,
UK
yeah,
passport enables you to apply as a native speaker in
yeah.
all instances.
Yes. So it has been very helpful, I would say, in the recent times. So when I started in October 2018. Yes, 2018. In this industry, and I didn't have my British passport, but a lot of Chinese companies, as you know, they like to advertise some people that look British or so as British teachers, even if you're South African. I don't know if have you seen this
I know.
before?
I know. I worked for a company that told us that if they ask us where we are from, we should pick a state in the
Yep,
United States,
and just say this.
Google it,
Yep,
um,
check the
and
time, check the
of
weather,
course,
and yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I've
Well,
been
there
through this
goes all
before.
the ethics, and yeah. Well, obviously, you've been there, and I've
I've
been
been
there.
there. Yeah.
Uh,
I was
the very
for
nature of this industry dictates that we should always have our hustle hat on and
yep,
willing to do what it takes.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, that's also part of the reason why I've decided to communicate with you. It seems also that you're quite successful, and it's nice to communicate with some people who are not just trying to get information from you. And like if I've made some posts on some of the groups, and I just get so many inboxes of people who, firstly, they're not qualified. Secondly, they're definitely not native speakers. They don't have a neutral accent, and they want to do this job, and they are confused as to why they are not getting accepted. But yeah. Besides that, anyway, so which type of companies do you work for, or which companies do you work
I
for,
only work for
basically?
only European companies now.
Okay.
I've moved away from the Chinese companies. I like you. I mean, I started. I mean, it's sort of standard. It's like your initiation process.
Yes.
You've got to teach a couple of 100 hours.
Sure.
Specializing with 6-year-old Chinese kids or Vietnamese
Or 3-year-old.
kids.
It's even worse.
Or 3-year-olds, my goodness, well, mate, you are really topping me on every level tonight.
No, 3 is really.
But
I've had it before, and it's terribly difficult. It's kind of almost useless as a
I
class.
can imagine. I had that in Vietnam in person, and that was a challenge in itself. I can only imagine online what it must have been.
Ridiculous.
I mean, after 30 minutes of that, you probably felt like you've just been teaching for 2 hours.
Yep,
I mean,
yep, definitely. Definitely.
You know this watch?
Yeah.
These watches that
I have the
take
same.
your heart rate. You have the same. It's probably the same one as well.
Yeah,
well,
me
when I
Fit
teach
5.
these young kids, and my average heart rate goes up. I mean, it rockets. I mean, so, and my stress level, it also measures your stress, and then
Right.
afterwards, my
You
average stress level just increased.
Of
So
course.
what I did was I lived for a very long time in Germany.
Okay, that's cool.
So, yeah, a very long. My daughter is German, and I have German family, and so,
Cool.
my, my German family. Just to be clear, I created it when I was there. I didn't have it
So
originally.
you weren't. Your
So
father is not from, like, my father's actually from Austria
no,
originally. So not like this.
no,
Okay. So
no.
you're South
I
African.
think
You're in Germany.
historically, somewhere in the 1800s,
Maybe
Danish
Dutch
and
yeah.
German.
Okay, got it.
Danish and German. I come from Viking blood. Hey,
Nice.
it's a little bit distinct. No, I'm just joking. But Danish. I think the Danes were Vikings. Yes, I'm sure they
Could
were
be.
all Vikings. But
Could be.
in any event, sorry, I ADD now. Anyway, so yes, and then I started applying to European companies, and then I mean they look at your CV, and I think the advantage that I had was a couple of years of teaching experience in Europe.
Of course, that'll be advantages, of course.
But you see, what I'm trying to teach my teachers on my page, and part of what I'm doing on my blog, it only gives you an advantage, okay? But you can waste that advantage instantly by messing up an interview, and getting the basics wrong and not being properly qualified. So, I deal just like you. I deal with. I'm stuttering because I don't know how to best articulate what I want to say, but I deal with an overload of inboxes, and I do get to some teachers and I help them, and I love helping them. Because some of them are really okay. They'll admit I don't know anything. What do you suggest I do?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And then you get these exceptional individuals who don't quarrel, debate, or argue, and they just go. And when you help them and they get employed, it is incredibly rewarding on a personal level.
Yes. I've helped a few teachers.
It feels rewarding, and that is why I started my blog, and it has grown a lot. I don't make any money out of the blog. It was just an idea that I got when we started working on our page, and so I'm currently only teaching Europeans and working with European companies, Portuguese, Germans, Italians, Spanish.
And, do you have private clients like there, or do you only work with companies?
I work with companies. I could possibly, because I've started to do that. Germany, I could go that way. And you know what? Ultimately, to be very honest with you, I'm in teaching online is an evolution. Okay,
definitely.
We both started in the same place. I think we are at idiom on that level. Okay, so and I'm now at that stage where I got a couple of my primary source of income is one school, and
it usually happens. It's a good school. Probably.
They just took over everything from the other schools, and because they are so reliable, the teacher support is incredible, and the quality of the students are just
it's always the
mind
best.
blowing.
Is it adults or
adults?
I prefer it as well. I have skiing, and beautiful. Just to teach an adult, it's like this basically. Just what we're doing right now.
Do you know that I applied to skiing successfully?
Okay.
But I did the interview just to share with you, maybe. Sorry, and I'll talk less, but I'm on my fourth cup of coffee. I apologize.
No, it's interesting.
I couldn't complete the application process with skiing because I wasn't using fiber optics. And with skiing, you have to go through that process where they ping check your internet connection.
Yes.
You remember that in the very initial
when I applied,
phase?
I think have you applied maybe recently? I got the job in 2018 already.
No, recently.
Okay, so recently they have changed, and also their rates are down. I earn a decent rate. I earn between $15 to $17 with them per hour.
They were not offering me that.
No, they don't offer that anymore. They're looking for what they call skiing premium, but there's nothing premium about it. They're paying about $7, something like this. And my girlfriend applied also recently, and she offered an offer of $3, and it was like, you could just get a day job.
That's like native speaker. Native speaker.
No, that's non-native speaker.
Native camp. Native Camp?
I've heard about them.
Man, $2.87. I banned them from my page.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, no, that is.
No one can survive on that salary. Even in a cheap country like South Africa, is quite cheap in general to live. It's not that expensive.
Probably not even in Vietnam, and you don't get much cheaper than Vietnam.
No, you don't. You don't.
But what I want to say to you, Erwin, before I forget to make that point, ultimately, with this online teaching, the ultimate evolution is to create your own business. Okay?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Getting your own students.
Yep. Own material.
What I can tell you is the teachers I know that have done it successfully.
Yeah.
Well, I can only count them on one hand.
It's not so easy.
The flip side. But the ones who have in Rand are pushing 45, 50,000 Rand a month easy.
Easy is the key part, because I push more than that every month, but it's not easy. It's far from easy.
No. I wasn't implying easy that it's not hard work. I was implying easy in terms of there's enough business.
Yes.
I mean, they could potentially earn more if they're willing to work like you are.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm also kind of insane. I think nothing of doing 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
But I think you're probably pushing even more.
Yeah.
And I don't feel I have the right to complain about a 10-hour day, other than to say I have a receding hairline and I'm not gaining any more hair because of it. Other than that, I have nothing to complain about.
All right.
I live a good life. I consider this as I'm happy. I'm grateful for the blessings I have. The Calvinist Afrikaner coming out in me now, but yes, to get your own students, to recruit your own students, that is the ultimate. That is the highest that you can get in this business.
Yes, because you'll get the best rates, of course. And then the next level, of course, would be the owner of the school. Yeah, which would be even better.
I have 2 Chinese women who have approached me now. They want me to start a school with them.
Okay.
They have a student base of 450 to 500 students.
Okay.
They're thinking of paying the teachers $8 an hour. Okay. Yeah. So now, I've got a lot of teachers in terms of teachers' resources. Okay. Although then, I don't know how good I'm going to feel about paying my teachers $8 an hour.
I know you can make a living on it. If you own your house, or if you're staying in a very small apartment, it's livable, but you're gonna have to work pretty hard. And I think that honestly, it's not fair, and going in that direction is also not something I would go for. I would say that be reasonable, rather increase the amount of students in a class. Rather say 2 to 4 students. It's manageable. I've done it before many times. It's not difficult. And then keep your rates above 10. Definitely above 10.
I'm not done negotiating with them by any means. We are still setting it up, and I'm taking it very slowly.
Of course.
Because
something completely new.
I've known them for a while now, and they have done everything that they've committed to do.
Okay? Yes.
Albeit even late by standard African time, standards, but they have done it, and I haven't had to ask them for any to do twice. You said you would do this, and so I mean those are good signs, I guess, in a way.
True.
The lowest I could offer a South African teacher. Now, I want to debate this with you, and actually, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you a favor.
Yeah,
would you send me this recording? I would love to post this recording on my blog, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I would love to do it, because this is the type of thing that teachers should know. What we're doing right now is exactly the type of conversation they should be listening to. Most especially the part where you said people want to do something, but they're not sure what they require to be able to do.
Yes.
But okay, so thank you for saying that I can use it, because the teachers will absolutely love watching this.
Of course, yeah.
So I think so, because it's incredibly informative to me as well. I didn't know Skyeng has gone down on their hourly rate that much.
It's terrible, actually. So there are some jobs available in our department, the one I'm working for, that I got the job originally. And going into the market, I'm glad that I went in when I did, because now it's just terrible.
Can I ask you a little bit about what you do? So
sure,
you can tell everybody so we can know. Okay.
Well, of course, yes. So I work for about 5 different companies. I work for Skyeng. I work for Palfish, thanks to my British passport. And I work for Bibo International. It's a combination of companies known as DMM Ikaiwa, which is a Japanese-based company. That's my lowest paying school. They pay $5 for 25 minutes. And let me just double check. So I have, of course, Skyeng, and then I have a smaller company called Everyday English. It's also based in Moscow, and the owner of the company is paying a decent wage. We'll say it's above 10. So he's paying in rubles technically, so it's 825 rubles for a class, which is not too bad. I think it works out to $11 or $12 per hour. And I also have some of my own private students.
A South African teacher in school, like let's say a standard South African teacher, who's working for the government. I don't think they earn much more than $12 an hour if you would sit down and calculate it. Because I see my sister was probably not, because she was pushing 20,000 Rand a month.
Okay.
That is after she got her BEd, PGCE, and did a 1-year diploma in special needs education.
So overly qualified.
Yes. I mean, she's in Qatar now, and I think she's getting I don't know, she's getting a lot. I don't ask her, but I know how
great
she.
Jobs there. Like I think $5,000 to $6,000, $7,000 per month. It could be.
Yes, because I can see what she buys, because usually Big Brother has to go and get the stuff from the places where she purchases.
Right.
So, but I mean, we are not stupid. We can deduce. I mean, you can't buy certain things when you're earning 10,000 Rand a month.
Of course not.
The point is that I believe, everybody probably can't earn $20 an hour. I would love that. That is a perfect
Of course,
goal.
yes.
But realistically speaking, one tree only has X amount of fruits on it.
Of course.
I don't presume to claim that is a fair system, but that is the reality that
life is not fair.
Or have to. But I think significantly more South African teachers, or teachers in general, let me not just say always South African, but I specifically cater for South African teachers with what I do, but they should be earning $10 an hour
at least.
If they're qualified, experienced, and competent.
Yes, exactly.
Let's add that.
Of course, not just anybody. So you can't just be coming out of high school expecting to become an online English teacher. It's ridiculous. You do need the minimum requirements. 120 hours TEFL at least, a degree, I would say, is you should have it. It's a job that you need a qualification for. It's not just a job you can do. It is a qualified job, and that's why I think the minimum definitely is 10. That's like minimum, because you are qualified.
Yes,
it's not
and
a job
at $10 an hour,
into.
you can put food on your table. I always look at the single mother scenario, because I deal with so many of them.
Yeah.
And I say this with the deepest amount of love and empathy. But these are the people that I really want to help. I mean, as many as I can, but these are the most vulnerable people in society and under the greatest amount of pressure. Yet they are being exploited. You know that some of them get excited if they get offered $5 an hour. They literally get it. I mean, look at Dazoa. Have you seen their ads lately?
Dazoa, yes.
Have you seen them?
Yeah, I think something $6, something like this. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly.
My good friend. No, my good friend. They start you off at $4 an hour, based on your interview and performance. So do you know what that means to me as an experienced online teacher? That means somebody on the other side of the world has the discretion, to decide whenever or wherever or for whatever reason they might decide to increase your salary at some stage. By the time our closest star has reached its life expectancy, by that stage they should put you up to $5 an
They
hour.
will never do.
Almost
never
I'm
do
being a little bit facetious here, but
yes.
not without reason. Okay, because these teachers apply. I had a Zoom group that like not so long ago.
Yes.
See what happened to some of the teachers. They work there for months at $4 an hour. They get constantly promised and I don't like stuff like that.
No, it's horrible.
I'd rather tell them the truth and let them know so that they can plan. Sorry.
And sometimes, well, I would say that definitely this is too low. $4 is not acceptable. And I think that as teachers, South African, I am a South African person. I grew up here. I just am lucky enough to have the passport, and that has helped me in the industry. But I know the struggles because I only got it last year, and I've been working in the industry for 3 years. So I would say that sometimes you have to put your foot down in some of these cases. And unfortunately, we have to do it all together now in this case because the market is so flooded thanks to COVID. So I have an experience.
Guys, do you hear what this man is saying now? Okay, we did not. This is the first time I've spoken to him in my life.
Yeah.
To remember what I said on my previous video. Sorry, I probably didn't say it. I said that the only people who have the power to change this market is the lot of us if we decide to put our foot down. Because so many thousands of South African teachers are teaching online that we could actually have an impact on these schools by saying to them, listen, this
stop teaching.
Is not going to happen. Okay.
So
and what do you have to lose?
You have very little to lose. You have $4 an hour to lose. And I have an example actually of putting my foot down. So I was working for a company, QQABC. It's a sister company of Hello Kid, quite a popular company. Anyway, so I was earning, I think, $13 an hour. And then I actually applied to Palfish before I got my passport. And I got the job somehow without uploading my passport. So then they're offering between, I think it's 110 RMB to 150. So it's something like $16 to $22. So it's a very good pay rate. So I started getting bookings there, and I told the company that I was honest and straightforward. I said, this is what I'm getting now. If you want to keep me, you have to increase my pay. And they did. They increased my salary immediately. I said, well, then sorry, I can't work for you anymore if you can't help me. And so they actually increased my pay, and I stayed with them for a bit longer. And then when I finally got my passport, I moved over completely because I felt safe. Because I kind of took a risk by applying to Palfish without my passport. But sometimes you have to put your foot down.
You know what I've also noticed, Owen? I don't know if you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yeah, perfect.
Because my name is really like messed up. It's like Alvain. It's like hello, and some of my European students they do me the favor of translating it, and goodness knows if but anyway. So the really funny thing that I've noticed, and I've spoken to some teachers, especially some of my friends who are teachers abroad, they've applied to companies who require degrees.
Yes.
Okay. But what they did was, and they didn't have degrees. Well, first of all, they never lied about it. They were very transparent. Okay. It's pointless. Okay. Because they are going to ask you eventually, and if it's a really good company,
they'll even check it.
But they'll check it. I not all of them, but if it's a really good company, count on it. They will check it. But wait. So what they've done is they make incredibly good profile pictures, set up an incredibly professional CV, okay, and then in addition to which their introduction videos were, I mean, by any standard,
very
absolutely mind-blowing.
Okay,
and they got offered the jobs. Okay, so the one guy, he was working for a company where they offered $20 an hour. That was their standard rate.
Yeah.
They took him and they offered him $16 an hour. Now,
still not bad.
I don't think $16 an hour is something to complain about. No. If you don't have a degree and you only have a TFL, on $16 an hour, if he works the same hours that me and you work, he can get very close to 25,000-30,000 Rand a month if he is fully booked.
Yeah.
Easily. So I was saying to teachers, I don't want to point them in the wrong direction, but
Right.
what do these companies have as an initial impression of you?
Mhm.
Only a profile picture, a CV, and
That's
an
all they have,
introduction
and a video. Yeah.
And then I asked them, I say to them, okay, guys, send me your intro video and let me have a look at it. And then, my goodness, Owen, I do this because I care for them.
Yes,
I really
yes.
do. Like, for whatever reason,
you're trying
I
to
woke
help
up
people.
one morning.
I'm also like that. Sometimes it feels good to
at
help
great
people.
cost to my own. This is my Netflix time, and and this is, so but I stopped the Walking Dead. It's like very repetitive. But in any event, so what has happened is I look at these videos and then I say to myself, now I understand. How much does it cost?
Yeah.
And some of them are really good teachers. BA degrees.
That's also sad.
But the introduction video is appalling.
Yeah.
It's like,
you don't know how to sell yourself.
It's like a low budget ETV movie, and that's where that's the problem. And I don't want to offend anybody, but honestly, if you want to impress, you need to do something. Spend 200 Rand and get somebody to edit the bloody thing.
Sure. Okay. Or learn how to edit yourself. That's what I did. Just watch YouTube videos. It's free. If you're earning nothing during those hours, you might as well improve a skill. And also once you've got some jobs. Yeah. Sorry? Okay. So I was just going to say that additionally, a lot of teachers neglect the fact of buying proper equipment. Having a proper laptop, having a proper camera. Like my headset is Jabra. It cost me 2,000 Rand. It's not a cheap headset. And you can hear the quality is very good. And my camera is the same. It's a Logitech
significantly better than mine, but
C9.
Mine looks
but at least
stupid.
No, it doesn't look bad.
It looks stupid, but it costed 1,400.
1,400. It's still but 1,400 exactly. But some people want to buy 100 or a 200 Rand headset, and the quality is very bad. And the person, let's say there's me with my 2,000 Rand or your 1,400 Rand versus that one. Even if we have everything the same, I'm going to get the job because I have the professional equipment. And the same with the camera. I have a 2,000 Rand camera. And people think that they can walk. So that's what the one part of the industry that I don't like from the teacher side is there are some people that think they can just walk into the industry and earn money. And it's not a free job. It's not just a simple thing that you can do. You can get away with it, but you'll get those $4 jobs and you will get nowhere slowly. You need to have a degree and you need to be qualified.
There was a series like that. I know there was a series on television called Nowhere Slowly, Going Nowhere Slowly.
I think, yes, there was.
Yeah, there was. As I'm giving away my age, and so are you. But the really important thing here is people seem to think, oh, okay, so, I hear some guys are making money with online teaching. Let me do a TFL, which is the easiest part. I think is really not that difficult getting. And then, yes, you do the TFL, and then you're actually really, okay, well, you're technically qualified to start applying.
Yeah, kind of.
But you were still incredibly incompetent.
Yes.
Or inexperienced. Yes. But the byproduct of being inexperienced is being incompetent. So
yes, of course.
It's not directed at anybody as an insult.
No.
I was there.
It's not insulting.
Owen, do you know how many companies turned me down?
Yeah, I've had very bad experiences where I have no idea what to do in that situation, and you learn from them.
And guys, look at his back. Look at his lighting. It's perfect. It's not stupid like mine. But mind you, I'm now on Alvain time. Okay, so I'm not in my teaching environment. But look at the lighting that he has. That is what they want to see.
And it's cheap. It's a ring light. It costs 200 Rand.
Is it LED light? Is it one of those LED
lights.
Lights at the back?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Ring lights.
Yes.
It's called a ring light. Simple. I can just quickly turn off my this. Boom. Simple. And it costs 350, 200 bucks sometimes if you get a good deal. And yeah.
Take a lot. That's where I find all the
yeah.
You see, but look at the difference that it makes. It's not casting a shadow like I'm casting now. Mind you, guys, I don't look like this when I teach, but you should look like this guy. It looks like he's ready to do a CNN interview. And essentially, it is the same thing, okay?
Yes.
And he looks neater and cleaner than I do because he's not casting a shadow, you see. And that is really important. People don't seem to understand that. These Chinese companies look at these
everything,
small little things, your headset, your background, your lighting. And sometimes you might have a brilliant CV. This I've seen countless times. And you might have a very good neutral accent.
Yes.
Not like you're from Pitsonder Water in the Free State, like one of those really neutral accents.
Yes.
And then you still don't get the job, and then it might be something arbitrary like your background.
Yes, exactly.
And in the beginning, when they turned me down, I was like, I emailed this one guy. He was an interviewer, also a South African. Not a very nice South African, but anyway, he was a South African. So then I sent him an email and I said, I insist that you tell me why I did not get the job.
Okay.
He gave me a pretty cocky response, but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Because then the list came. And the list was long.
He gave you all the wrong things.
Oh, yes. Nice. Who the hell are you to annoy me? And I'm so grateful to this day for that list, because that list, after that, my applications were significantly more successful.
Yep.
Then I worked for some crappy companies. I'll name some of them. I'm not even scared, because I'll never go back to them.
Yes.
And if I call them crappy, then if I call Native Camp crappy, then they deserve it, because no human being, not a Filipino, nobody deserves $2.73. Filipinos get paid more than that in Vietnam and in Thailand.
For simple jobs.
If you've looked at their application, have you seen the application process for Native?
No, I haven't. Maybe fortunately.
It's rigorous. My goodness, they expect a lot for very little. So I want to ask you a question, Erwin.
Okay.
You've got 1 year experience on me. Okay. We are both doing well by the grace of God. Sorry, again, Calvinist Christian.
That's okay. No problem.
But if you were one of these South Africans that I'm trying to help, so I always try to be modest, but I've shared my ideas with them so often, and it would be refreshing to somebody like you to say, what is the first thing you do? What is the second thing you do? How do you start this journey?
Well, assuming
that you're mind taking so much of your time.
No, I don't mind. It's an interesting conversation. So, okay, I would say, assuming you're qualified. Qualified meaning you've got some experience, at least with kids, bare minimum. You've got a degree, and you have a TEFL. Okay, that's bare minimum qualification. Okay, assuming you're qualified, firstly, put your CV together, watch some YouTube videos, go on some blogs, and figure out how to create a professional CV. Your CV needs to include your face. Your picture needs to be there. It's not a normal thing for maybe South Africa in general. We don't usually put our pictures on our CVs for normal job interviews, but they want it. Secondly, would be investing in a very good introduction video. So you can be creative with this. You shouldn't be a very boring hi, my name is Owen. I am this. I am from South Africa. I am excited. You're not exciting. So firstly, you need to be animated in your introduction. Secondly, you can be creative. If you have dogs, if you have cats, bring them into your video. They like this, especially Chinese companies.
I did that with my ABC 360 interview. I picked up my dachshund. It was a winner, man.
It works.
I knew.
It works.
That lady's like, oh, is you little boy? It worked like a bomb immediately.
It works with young kids. I often bring my animals into class. So do that if you have that. If you have some passions, bring them in. I made one really cool introduction video where I showed all my hobbies. I showed my motorbike, my car, my dogs, my cats, everything about me, and I got a lot of jobs from that. So I would say introduction video is, maybe number one, even above your CV. Introduction video.
Thank you, guys. Guys, listen, this man has a year more experience than I do. He's in the same market as I am, and he's saying exactly what I said. And we did not even agree to have this. We just decided now to record it and send it. So it just shows that there's continuity in the recipe for applying to a job successfully. Well, not just one job, in general.
Exactly.
So But
well,
now, okay, Erwin.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to push one more question out of you. Sorry, man.
Why not?
Okay, I very seldomly get successful teachers to actually. Well, I mean, my goodness, I'm no better. If somebody else would have asked me to do this now, I would have done
Right.
10 hours. And now this as well. Okay, but
I generally have a lot of energy for this, so it's okay. Let's do it.
Yes, and me and you do the same thing. It's like, Hans, you would have been a good litigator. I used to teach law for many years, and I can see a litigator a mile away, mate. You would have been a good litigator. Anyway, so what would you do? Okay, assume you're a teacher. Okay,
yes.
Let's work on. Okay, you're a teacher. You have a TFL. You've actually listened to Alvin and Erwin's advice now. Okay. How do you go about getting a job that pays you well? Because this is the question that everybody is going to ask. Is it simply trial and error?
Yes, I would say it's simply trial and error. So you're going to have to apply for, I think I cannot count how many jobs I've applied for in this industry. It's going to be hundreds, 200, 300, with no joke, no overcompensation, no exaggeration. Maybe I've applied for 300 different positions. You can get lists from Facebook or from Google, wherever there are long lists. Apply, go through all the tedious processes, rewriting your...
I quite recently gave them a mega list. You know those mega lists?
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them.
I try to give them a mega list every week. Okay. So you literally have to have, guys, you literally have to apply to 150 on that 150 list.
Everyone. Okay? You have to apply to everyone. And you'll be lucky to get a few interviews. And that's the next most important step. Your interview is very, very important. Nowadays, I've seen a lot of recorded ones, but you need to be very professional. When I have an interview, I don't even look like this. I look still okay now, but I have my hair done. I make sure I'm like cleanly shaven. I wear a suit and not maybe a suit, but I wear a formal shirt with a tie, as if I'm really going to an interview. Because you're not going to get a job if you're treated like it's just, I'm here because I want to work from home and make money for nothing. You need to treat it like it's a professional company. If you treat them like that, they will treat you with the same respect. So for the interview, that's impeccable. Your appearance, your professionalism, your equipment needs to work properly. You need to prepare. You have typical questions. You can go on YouTube. There are countless videos on each company, how to apply, what to expect. Do your research on the company and then prepare for your interview. If you have a demo, do it in and out, have video calls with your mother, your sister, or whoever, and practice. Because you're going to do it in the class, especially if you don't have experience. Like me now, I don't feel that stressed anymore when it comes to this type of thing. I kind of just check what do they want and I do it. Because I've been doing this, like today, I worked, almost 12, 13 hours already. And that's already much more experience than most teachers have starting out. So you need to practice. And even if it's tedious and it's stupid, just keep doing it. And that's where you'll get success, basically.
You know, interviews, like after a while, like at the moment, I just do interviews for my blog. Like so I apply to the job, go through the whole process. And you know what? Since I don't care whether I'm going to get the job or not, I'm getting offered 8 out of 10 times.
Yes.
I did an interview, so like the one day I forgot, because honestly, I don't want to work for these companies. I just want to give the teachers feedback. For example, when I've applied to this company, what's the interview like, and all right. So the one day I forgot that I actually had this interview because it's really not on my priority list.
Right.
And I I signed a non-disclosure agreement with all of these European companies. It's a funny hassle that they have. But this huge German company had a group session with me that day. Yes. And so that required some preparation. You're not doing. And these guys speak a lot of German and very little English. So now, fortunately, my daughter is German, so I can gooi it in German. But I don't have a choice because my daughter refuses to speak English. But anyway, so I forgot about this interview, and I had my cap on, and at least it was a collar shirt.
At least. Okay.
It's like one of those old khakis, those old khaki shirts.
Right.
Like, but it's nowhere what you should be wearing.
No, I understand, especially the cap part. It's ridiculous.
No.
Not for an interview.
You can still even have Andries Pretorius beard. You get away with that. But the cap is...
No, it's a big no-no.
I went into that interview and I decided, let's have fun. That's all. That was my main motive. That Chinese lady laughed so much. I mean, I was mocking her. We were going off on Donald Trump being overweight. The conversation went left and right. And she said to me, they call me Teacher Andy because it's easier for me.
It's easy.
Alvin, So my alias is Andy, and she said, Teacher Alvin, or Andy, you know what? The kids are going to love you. Okay, they are going to love you.
Yeah.
And then it's not a $20 an hour job. Like I said, I went through the process. The point I'm trying to make, and I want to ask you if you agree, is if you're relaxed in your interview, and you show them you have energy. My lighting was good, I might add, because I was in my teaching environment, neutral background. I don't have baby shark stuff. I'm sorry, maybe I should, but I don't have any of it.
It's not necessary.
I work with adults now, but but when I was teaching young kids, it's about the energy, and they want to.
Most definitely. So,
and if they will laugh, the kids will laugh. So
exactly. If you can, definitely. If you can make your interviewer laugh, that's a huge bonus. You're going to get big bonus points, and especially if it's for a teaching job with kids, you need to be playful. So you can't be like going into a serious business interview. You have to be. So you have that part, of course. You introduce yourself. You speak professionally. Of course, you're not going to make jokes from the beginning, but you build up to it, and you do make jokes. That's the best way.
No. You have to, obviously. I mean, we went through that phase about, okay, hello, my name is Borat. I'm from Kazakhstan. You go through that phase. Okay, you tell her everything.
And hello, my son is in rotation. If you're doing demo
you can go.
Or mock or whatever you want to call it, you have to be playful. Don't worry about too much detail. You need to be playful. Use your hands, use your face, different voices. Go closer to the camera. Go away from the camera. You have to be all over the show, basically. It's maybe not a nice way to put it, but you need to be a little bit of a monkey, an English-speaking monkey, especially for Chinese companies. It's a funny way to put it, maybe, and a little bit insulting, but it's speaking directly.
It's the truth. I mean,
it's the truth. And, that's what I'm saying.
And the truth is always a complete defense against any criticism. True. That is what I'm sort of quoting my law professor now, but anyway, so I can't take credit for that. Paraphrasing. He'll slap me if he says I quoted him and it was wrong. But the point is, he's right. It's like 60% a show, okay?
Yeah.
And then 40%
teaching.
Not
with adults. Adults is much more serious. Yeah. You entertain and you try your best. Yeah. I think if you watch most teachers' videos that I experienced, if you watch all of my kids' videos, half of the time I'm doing ridiculous things. And obviously, if you're looking to apply for adults, I think those are the kind of hardest jobs to get, because I had some tough interviews with like serious grammar questions and stuff like that, and I was like, I sometimes had to really because as like native speakers, you don't learn grammar rules so much. I can't remember learning serious grammar rules in my class. Verb plus be plus ing. I never learned this stuff. I just know it naturally. And till this day, I haven't picked up a grammar book. Maybe I need to, but
it's two of us. I mean, okay, well, the closest I got to it was my TFL.
Sure, of course.
What was really funny is that I had to study German when I got to Germany, of course. And that forced me back into my grammar textbooks, because you can make a comparative study.
Of course.
And that actually helped me a little bit. But anyway, so like you said, my interview with my primary source of income right now was a 1.5 hour long interview. My goodness. Okay.
It's stress life being in such long ones.
Of Desmond Tutu and P.W. Botha at the same time while they were talking to me.
Yes.
And they sit on the opposite sides of the fence. But she was asking me so many intense questions.
Yeah.
So we had the grammar section, and then
Worst
what do
section.
you do in your free time? Do you
Mm-hmm.
prefer Irish kartoffel salad, or do you prefer conventional English potato
Yes,
salad?
yes.
And then I said on my CV that I spoke German. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So she knows some people have their hustle on. So then she
She wanted to
typed me a
test you.
sentence and the text came through, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So, and she says, could you translate that for me? And I'm like, yeah, but okay, you can do a bit better than that if you want to challenge me. She loved that. It was a little bit,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it was an angle. It got her attention. That was
Yes.
all it was about.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me being arrogant.
No, of course not. No, I don't. I understand. You have to be confident, and you have to sell yourself basically in interviews. We are salespeople. But by the way, this company
you have
that
half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I have. No,
You have
it's
half
no
an
problem.
hour to win an Oscar. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got half an hour to put up an Oscar performance.
So it's or an hour and a half in your case. Was it a requirement for the job or not?
Sorry?
Was the German part a requirement for the job?
No, but it is a definite advantage. And if you studied economics, I did a law degree. Okay, but we did business entities and economics and tax law. It just automatically goes with it. And then instead of sending her a copy of my formal qualification, I sent her my printout so that she could actually see every single subject.
Yeah. I did my supply chain and operations management degree, so I've also got at least a bit of economics and business and accounting and all of that stuff.
You know what? You'll do very well in the European industry because I would say 2/3 of the students are business management.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not allowed to say names of companies, but I wish I could. I mean, and then you think this is just a normal person, but then you look at his profile, because you have your list of students and their entire history, and
yes.
Oh my goodness, I should have said doctor.
I've had these cases as well with some of the companies I work for. Shocking, like guys who own businesses, like famous on Instagram, well, semi-famous, I mean like 100,000 followers, like they're influencers, they're giving speeches in front of people, and here I am teaching them how to pronounce a word, and it feels humbling sometimes to realize afterwards how serious this person was. Exactly.
And yet the funny thing is, the majority of these utterly successful people are quite modest.
Very nice people.
And they're quite nice people, yes.
Most definitely.
I've started teaching French students now for the first time as well.
I also have
they're a bit more challenging than the Spanish and the Germans. Oh my goodness, the Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese people are the nicest people.
I had an Italian student
once. Mamma mia, they're so friendly, man.
Nice.
When I know I have to teach them, some of the classes are really difficult because sometimes you're not sure if you're teaching English or business.
Sometimes it feels like that. Yeah. Or even sometimes I feel like a psychologist. I mean, if you really have, I have students usually for a long time. I've had I think my longest student, I've had almost 190 1-hour lessons with them, and we've had a relationship for like 2 years. And sometimes they open up about personal life, and you can even feel like a psychologist, business teacher, psychologist, whatever you.
Have you ever had a rant where a student goes into a rant?
Oh yeah, definitely. I had one about. Do you know Navalny from Russia? He's the direct competition to Putin.
Oh, yes, the guy's in prison at the moment.
He's in prison at the moment. I had a student, he went on the whole lesson.
Putin now, if he dies, then Russia is going to suffer dire consequences. So what I love about Biden, I want to post this on, but what I love about Biden is he really put Putin on his lap and gave him a spank. Okay.
Yes.
And Putin knows that Biden comes from a very old generation of politicians who were raised during the Cold War.
Yes.
And that is imprinted in Biden's mind. Even though he's a liberal Democrat, he still sees them as commies and himself as the leader of the free world. And well, he put Putin in his place. And
no, definitely.
well, Trump and his affinity towards young Russian women who work for money made him less vocal when he was addressing Putin, because I assume Putin knows a few things that Trump probably wish he didn't. In any event. So
anyway,
you were telling me about Novelty. Was she going off on?
Yeah. So it was a male student. He went off the whole time about how bad it was, and he said that he lost a friend that just before our class because they disagreed on this fact. And basically, it was a 50-minute class, and he spoke for most of the class, just continuing about this. And there was not much for me to do. I could have tried to interrupt him, like, okay, let's focus on English. But I still have a student today. And sometimes you do digress off of class. It happens a lot, especially with long-term students.
But it's dangerous to stop them. Because I tried to stop them once, and I learned a hard lesson. I learned a hard lesson because they actually took offense. And I tried to take control back of the class by telling him that we need to finish this. It didn't go down very well.
Adults are tough. Adults are tough. You have to manage it in a very delicate way. Usually it's best to try and avoid certain topics like politics or relationships that are too personal. It's usually best to avoid.
I had a group session with Germans, and this lady went on a rant about her third divorce and the children that she had with her, and the rest of us in the group, we were just sitting there. Ja, meine Güte, schon. Ja,
so
es ist peinlich, es ist nicht einfach. Just keep quiet, you know. And she keeps on saying to me, life is a bitch. But that's basically the only English that she could speak. And I'm like,
you're not supposed to say that.
To her in German, yes, ma'am, I'm terribly sorry for your loss. She responds by saying to me in German, those men were not a loss to me. They are good. So
good riddance,
really
basically. Nice.
20 minutes of the class just into her divorce. But
very, very awkward situation.
Owen,
yes.
Owen, I need to thank you very much for from what I've gained from this, but also on behalf of the people who are going to watch this video. I am not a pain in the ass, okay? But I might ask you again, not in the near future because I know you're busy. And in the future, I will book time with you because you know, I appreciate. I know how you feel because I'm like right now, my eyes are so red. I look stoned from teaching. Okay, so I know you're tired, but please believe me when I say that this is inspiring because you don't get a lot of stories coming from South African teachers who are pushing good salaries. You shared experience with us. And I don't want them only to see my
point of view. Exactly.
I want to, and I do appreciate it. And I'm sure that this is going to help some people.
I hope so. That's also what I want to do. I mean, I'm successful and I found it's not easy, but it's worthwhile in the end. So I'm also glad to help.